Hello, happy Friday. Oh, as happy as you can be. Happy Friday, Tesla Power. We are back in action. Tesla in the market, pretty much taking a dump today. I hope everyone's doing well. Tesla down 6% on the day. The NASDAQ down 2.5%. Apple down 2.8%. So almost a beta of two there. I hope everyone's doing well. I see everyone in the chat here. Happy Friday. I mean, if you can stay happy, let's try to go through a bunch of news that we got today. We got some Giga Berlin headlines coming out. We got some open shareholder or open investor letters to Tesla board. We got Tesla earnings to talk about because remember, I mean, amidst everything that's happening, there is earnings happening next Wednesday. So I guess hold on until then. Storm clouds are thick. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from, city, state, country, wherever you guys feel comfortable sharing. Agora Hills. Let's see here. Greetings from Germany. Denmark, Amsterdam. That's awesome. Hey, by the way, hold on. Let's just pull this up here 1 second. By the way, I've got actually no, I'll just talk about that later. Okay. So let's pull up Tesla's ticker again. Here's where we are, by the way, macro speaking wise, if you just want to talk bigger picture for a second. So bigger picture wise, this is the weekly graph of Tesla. Remember, high is $415, split adjusted back in November of last year, approaching 1 year from all-time highs, believe it or not. And then on the weekly, we really, we don't really have to do anything because the VIX keeps on climbing up here. But 200 is kind of the last level of thick support before we get into what year is what hold on, 2021, beginning of 2021 levels, so 180ish. Remember, pre-split or post split, pre the last split that we had, 200 is about, of course, $600 here. So okay, let me read off some places here. Let's see here. Boise, Idaho. Hello, how's it going? Let's see here. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. LA, Sweden, Austria, Atlanta, England, Middle East, Cleveland, Toronto, Danbury, Sweden, London, Italy, Crystal Palace, Vancouver, Richmond. There we go. Local. Sweden, Queensland, Great Britain, I presume, such in there. Maryland, Nepal. There we go. We are global. Missouri. Awesome. Okay, so let's try to rationalize, I guess, try to make sense of this move for a second if we can. So first things first, the majority of today's down move is macro related. It's not Tesla related. Of course, got Tesla in the title because that's what mostly we're talking about on stream, but I guess we got to zoom out, right? So on the day where the NASDAQ is down 2.5-ish%, you'd expect Tesla to be down closer to 5%, maybe 4.5 to 5% with Tesla's beta. Now, there's a little bit of extra downside room as, you know, Tesla's down 6% today. So where's that 1.5% coming? Well, of course, there's no way to know for sure. We did get some reports out of Giga Berlin today that may have contributed to some of it. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll go ahead and kind of fill you in case you missed it. This is from Tesmanian. Tesla Giga Berlin battery factory is moving forward despite misleading reports. Tesla's battery factory Giga Berlin is making excellent progress and is well on its way to starting production. The German team is full ahead despite misleading local news reports based on unnamed sources. The German news publication Handelsblatt has once again published information that casts a shadow over the development of Tesla's battery factory in Giga Berlin. The publication reported that the manufacturer encountered problems when trying to establish the production of battery cells, namely due to the DBE process, dry battery electrode. In an earlier article, it was indicated that Tesla was moving forward with battery manufacturing equipment to Texas. In conclusion, they suggest that the manufacturer was postponing a plan to develop a battery factory in Germany. In its arguments and conjectures, it relies on, quote unquote, several sources that told them about it. Tasmanian has contacted its sources at Berlin to clarify whether his report was true. People familiar with the situation said that this report is not true, although some facts in it are correct. The source said that some employees of the battery factory Giga Berlin went to the U.S. to help set up battery production in Giga, Texas. This was done due to the fact that Giga Berlin had great success. So essentially what happened here, if you guys remember, about a month and a half ago, there was a lot of news reports out saying, "Oh, Tesla's moving away from battery production in Giga Berlin." But remember, that news report was on the backs of the EV battery manufacturing credits that were going to be given to any battery manufacturer in the United States, in North America. And so that article highlighted that Tesla said, screw this. Why would we focus on Berlin for now when we could focus on reaping all of these tax credits and all of these rebates for now, right? So today, all of a sudden, that kind of resurfaced. Plus, it was specifically saying that they couldn't figure out the DBE process. And so that rumor Tasmania is trying to clear up. It's kind of he said, she said. Look, obviously, it's as long as Tesla and management continue to guide for the 50% CAGR over the long haul, and nothing really changes on that front. I really couldn't care less about the mix of what battery types get in, because at the end of the day, yes, 4680s are going to be margin enhancing, but Tesla's margins already are already pretty insane. So yes, 4680s, and I don't think 4680s margins are really baked in. So as long as the CAGR is continued to be guided for, which unless we hear otherwise straight from Tesla management, you can't really account for. As long as that's the case, the mix of batteries doesn't really matter. Now, 4680s are going to be a big part of the growth process here. I talked to Lee, Tesla economist. You guys should go watch my interview with him if you haven't already. He kind of dove into more of the details around the 4680s and what the backup plan could be and all this sort of stuff. But really, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of he said, she said. So I'm not sure if this is really that is based much on that or not, but we'll see. So that's that article. Lots of short covering yesterday. Yes, indeed. Yesterday was a lot of short covering for sure. And we talked about this yesterday on the stream when we went on. I said the rally that we had yesterday didn't give me too much confidence. So let's see here. What else we got going on in the chat? The hit pieces on Elon and Tesla are unrelenting, says John. Yes, I mean they're always going to be like that. So yeah, okay. So let's move on to the next story here. So Gary Black on Twitter is tweeting about a buyback. Which tweet should we pull up first here? 1 second. Let's pull up this one. So if you don't know, Gary Black has issued an open letter to Tesla board asking for buybacks. $10 billion is what he's proposing. So Gary says, we asked the securities lawyer if Tesla could authorize and announce a $10 billion multi-year share buyback and then use $5 billion to immediately buy back shares from Elon so he could buy Twitter. The answer appears to be yes, everything is disclosed, maybe why S&P investment grade rating came early. It goes on to say Tesla would have to wait for earnings to avoid being accused of manipulation and using a negotiated price based on that day's close, or they could announce on quarter 3 earnings and any fourth quarter guidance and wait a 2 to set the price based on where Tesla price settled at. He tweets lastly, this could explain why SB moved early to upgrade Tesla to investment grade status and appeared so much forward-looking detail to allow Tesla to issue debt if they wanted to accelerate a portion of the share buyback to buy Elon shares. Look, I do agree that the timing of the investment grade was a little bit has been a little bit sus, because why not just wait until after earnings for that? But this whole idea of share buybacks directly from Elon, I just don't think it makes sense. Again, he's talked to the security lawyer. I haven't, so he has more industry knowledge. I don't. It just feels like it's so extraneous. It's so it's such a reach really right now. And to be fair, I think a lot of people are hanging their hats on this share buyback thing, which we talked about yesterday. I'm pro for share buyback eventually. But people are hanging their hats on the share buyback, not putting words in Gary's mouth here, but just people I see on Twitter even as this being the next big catalyst to move us forward. Remember, share buybacks are a longer-term capital strategy. It's not going to be a one-day squeeze party like I showed you my tweet yesterday about it. So, yeah, I think keeping expectations a little bit settled there is probably fair. So, I mean, it's certainly possible, right? It's certainly possible that the investment grade credit was for a bond issuance to do buyback. I just don't think tying specifically Elon back in there to sell shares. Like, by the way, where are we with that whole thing? You guys know probably more than I do. I am purposely trying to avoid this whole following Twitter news for Elon and Twitter. Throw in the comments. Does Elon need to buy? Does Elon need to sell more shares to fund this Twitter deal? You guys would know more updated than I am. I continue to think his tweet a couple months ago saying that he sold back then I think August 9th is when that tweet came out. He was selling then because it would avoid an emergency sale. Signals to me that nothing's changed. But you guys would know better if there's any updated report on financiers or the deal. I kind of turn a blind eye to it because it just doesn't. And yeah, this is another one. Burnt hair. Look, Elon tweeting and saying I'm selling perfume so I can buy Twitter doesn't really strike me as something he would tweet if he was really reaching for money, right? Like, I don't know. Such as say here, I'm not following Twitter at all. I don't know. Maybe I'm apathetic about it. I'm sorry. I just, I'm just like, either buy it or don't. All of the middle stuff is kind of shenanigans. I get it. It's great content. Everyone loves to follow the news and what's happening. I just don't think it matters either way, to be quite honest. That's just my opinion of it. And I guess you could hate me for it if I love Twitter. I just think buy it or don't at this point. So, and I guess that's what's kind of happening. So, but I'm going to pull this up. Emergency sale. I continue to think this tweet holds true. I don't know if it's just my naiveness or whatever, but remember August 9th, like I said, August 9th, I remember this tweet. Sawyer asked Elon saying, "Are you done selling?" And Elon said, "Yes." In the hopefully unlikely event that Twitter forces this deal to close and some equity partners don't come through, it is important to avoid an emergency sale of Tesla stock. That was August 9th. Now, if something's changed, let me know. So, okay, let me read some comments. What are you guys saying? No, he won't. No buy. Well, you guys talking about the buyback? Good chance. Mark says good chance he needs to sell more billions. Yep, he has to sell. Interesting. So let's see here. Johnson, I'm about to delete the Twitter app. It's destroying my inner peace. Definitely folks, this is why every Friday I say take a break, rest up. And I definitely encourage anyone that's feeling overwhelmed. This market is crazy, right? Like, this is unprecedented, the market we're having. Forget about Tesla even for a second. I tweeted out a macro tweet the other day. Here's this one. I retweeted this one. From Bespoke. This is the only year since the 5 trading day week has started that has seen a higher percentage of down days than 1974. You have to go back to 1974. I think I worded it better here. You got to go back to 1974 to find more percentage red days in the stock market than 2022. So, that's where we're at. 207.16 sitting on Tesla here. So, look, if Elon has to sell, that makes sense because everyone wants to front run, everyone wants to short, get into puts before he has to sell. By the way, I think people are forgetting when Elon has to sell, he doesn't have to sell in the open market. He can sell via dark pools, block sales, institutions. He can sell. Actually, it makes more sense this time not to sell in the open market and sell directly to institutions that may be funding his deal. And look, I think in this case, it doesn't necessarily have to be open market selling. But I'm still not convinced that Elon has to sell more Tesla stock for this Twitter deal. So, but also, I get it because people are saying, oh, these drawdowns that we're having, this has to be Elon selling. I mean, look, there's still a blackout period for Tesla management and employees for buying and selling Tesla stock until after earnings. So unless you have a 10b5-1 plan already in place, which is why we saw, I think, Drew Baglino and Zach Kirkhorn have those Form Bs. Adugan says, actually, his next channel, hit that sauna. If you guys don't know, I was tweeting out when I was on vacation. I was hitting the sauna every day. I actually really miss the sauna. I want to get a pass for the local sauna here now. It just calms me down. Um, Sandra says if Tesla share price continues to drop, then it can be below price agreed with banks for collateral and could allow Twitter deal to fall through. Is his Twitter deal contingent on financing? What a rookie question, but I'm asking because I've heard conflicting reports. No, I didn't buy any of the perfume. I didn't buy the perfume. Um, so people are saying he needs to sell at least 5 billion. I don't know. What do you think, Ovi? Doc sitting again. I don't know if that what's changed between now or now, I guess, and that tweet that we had with Elon saying that. And again, I don't want to really put the focus on Twitter today because I don't think that's really what the majority of the down day of the down move is. It's not Tesla related. Apple is down 3.2%. I put this on Discord this morning. I said, actually, I'll just try to pull it up here. Where is it? I said, what saves the market at the moment is going to be inflation reduction data or evidence, and or stocks like Tesla continuing to show and signal for monster growth despite the headwinds and the Fed's ineptitude. The majority of the move that we're seeing today is macro related. Apple. It's not often Apple is down 3%. Nvidia is down 5.3%. The S&P 500 is down 2.3% again today. So, what else have we got? I guess Tesla Q, the ticker is green today. Palantir is down another 6%. Remember, these are longer duration stuff, whereas Tesla is not really long duration. It's not a long duration stock anymore. Maybe medium duration is where the heavier EPS will come. But so yeah. New low, yes, 206.55. Low of day is 206.49, so we're pretty much there at the moment. Let's watch something to potentially humor us or to get us away from the stock price for a hot second.
Big downturn we saw at the end of last week. Tesla was one of the names hit hard in the sell-off, turning in its worst week since March 2020. But the company is making inroads, we learned today, in China, just setting a record for monthly deliveries for September. Joining us now is Bernstein's Tony Saganagi. Tony, your market performance, I know you're not particularly excited about Tesla. Is it the fundamentals, or do you think it's the broader market backdrop?
Sarah, we've been a little bit more cautious on Tesla for a couple reasons. One is we still think its valuation is very high, particularly relative to other automotive stocks. And secondly, we do worry fundamentally that it may be difficult for Tesla to continue to sustain this 50% growth rate that it's promised going forward. And I think, quite frankly, despite the good data from China today, China is probably the one area of the world that we, and I think more broadly, investors are increasingly worried about.
I should correct myself. Your underperform rating on Tesla, $150 price target. So why do you think China's a worry if we got those good delivery numbers today?
What happened, Sarah, over the last several months is the best leading indicator of Tesla's demand in a given region is how long you have to wait to get a car. And in China, that was 14 to 22 weeks, 3 to 6 months ago. It's now 1 to 4 weeks. And so Tesla had a very large backlog in China. it has a very limited backlog in China right now. And we've seen that happen also in the US. We think there are more plausible explanations for why that's happening in the US. But in China, it does feel as though we are potentially starting to see some incremental softness in demand. And that's, for a growth stock like Tesla, it's all about growth and top line growth. And so,
sorry, you guys said no sound on me. My bad. I was just saying that the wait times that you talked about in China have gone up, and also the reason for the wait times being so short in the beginning of the quarter is because they're padding up all of the backlog to deliver at the end of the quarter in certain areas, and also trims have gone up in certain areas in China already.
I do think this is an issue that we all need to pay attention to going forward.
Yeah, you think it's going down to 150. You think Apple is a market performing 170, which is interesting because Apple has held up relatively well against the market. Even when it gets hit pretty hard, it's still it hasn't been making new lows. Why?
Apple has really been viewed as sort of this stable consumer franchise. They did very well during the pandemic.
Yeah, we get it. Apple's great. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so 206.37. Look, I just pulled it up right now. I'm trying to pull up Tesla's Model 3 wait times in Shanghai. It's 4 to 8 weeks for the Performance, and it's 4 to 8 weeks again for the Model 3, right? So, it was 1 to 4 weeks, but that's because people were all the let's say marginal demand was satiated, and now people are waiting to the end of the quarter to get delivered, and that's why it's 4 to 8 weeks. So. Also, don't forget, Tesla's raised prices on these cars dramatically in the last year and a half. So, lowering it by even a little bit will help increase demand in some areas. And I don't think there's anything wrong with lowering prices. I'm on record to say that I think prices are too high for especially entry level cars for Tesla at the moment. But what am I to say, right? If people are buying these cars and there's already wait lists and stuff like that. Yeah, Marco talked about the Northern Lights on yesterday's stream. Let's see here. Akil says removal of sensors saves $114 per car. Have you seen Rob's video? Yes, I've Rob's video. Yes, I think I've seen it, but I've also seen analysis elsewhere of the sensor stuff. For example, Farzad as well. Okay, look, I think I great, but I really don't think it's a fundamental thing to focus on too much in terms of cost savings, really, because it just doesn't really excite me. I guess it is billions in the long haul, but it's not something that is making a huge difference at the moment or in the next couple years at least. So, but I am curious on how the car is going to drive without the sensors, because I will say I do love my sensors. They beep a lot. Sometimes they're too sensitive, but I'm an auditory guy. Let's see here. New support price. Let's pull up support. Let's pull up support at the moment. Yikes! Look at that chart, hey. Okay, let's pull up Ripster's EMA. Let's do the daily. What's up, Obi? 205 kind of seems like really close. Oh, what do you want? Stop. She just wants me to pet her. I think we're looking pretty much low of a range is kind of where we're looking at spring, March, April of 2021. Low of range was 180 split adjusted, 185-ish, if you want to call it that. That's low of a range. So I think a 200 break, we kind of look at those levels. These are technically speaking wise, of course. But I think what's equally as important, if we take a look at this, is the weekly. And you can see on the weekly, if we just go very macro for a second on the weekly, the next support zone exists between 200 and 185 again. So that reiterates what we were looking at on the daily. So that's the next level of outstanding demand that may be for Tesla in specific. Now, I'm going to caveat this a little bit and say, look, earnings is happening next week. So technicals don't mean much when headlines come out. News really trumps everything, right? Technicals could exist in specific zones, and Tesla could come out with a headline and completely change everything. So next week earnings is going to be really important. Let's see here. Yeah, this is a new 52-week low, 205.37 sitting on Tesla. Let's see here. Could there be a earnings miss also? I suppose anything's possible, right? Anyone that says it's not possible is not being prudent enough. The question is like, okay, so the street's at $1.04 EPS. Earnings, or pardon me, a whisper number is $1.09. Most Tesla Twitter analysts or Tesla retail analysts are closer to the 130 range. Headwinds this quarter to watch out for are foreign exchange. Not entirely sure where that hits, but that's going to be a headwind for sure. Yeah, that's going to be that. I'm trying to think of other. Actually, no. Here, I have a good tweet. I have a good tweet about this conversation. Mayor Tucker, who was on the channel last week, says to keep the conversation balanced, here are two biggest risks I see for Tesla stock. This was tweeted yesterday. Number one, earnings are disproportionately dependent on China. The rising cost of capital, therefore lower PE, as trade wars and geopolitical tensions rise over Taiwan, human rights, civil liberties. So, the geopolitical stuff I think might be a little bit premature, but I understand the hesitancy for the China earnings. And we talked about that on our stream. Number two, ASP, currently 55,000, must come down to match the slowing global economy, higher cost of living, and rising employment. If Tesla is forced to cut prices before production inefficiencies are realized at Berlin and Austin factories, gross margin would fall back to 20-25% range. Mayor says, before you cite Tesla's large backlog that is keeping ASPs high, remember, backlog can vaporize quickly if, number one, wealth effect declines from the sustained decline in asset prices. I think this is kind of a reach because at the end of the day, I think there's going to be relative strength in the EV sector. Cost of financing soars. It's already soaring. I also think on this note, if you're going to be financing a car, would you not want to finance a car that has a way lower cost of ownership over the next 5 or 10 years because you don't pay for gas, maintenance, all this sort of stuff? Number three, core inflation forces reprioritization. And number four, unemployment rises. Remember, next year also, we talk about price cuts and all this sort of stuff, but we had this conversation with Mayor. Next year also, there's going to be the $7,500 tax credit to talk about as well, which I think it's important that we keep that in mind. 205.89 sitting on Tesla. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so FSD wide release. This is a good one. I don't know. FSD wide release beta. Everyone is convinced FSD wide release beta end of year is coming, which is fine. But everyone's convinced that this is going to hit the bottom line. Like there's going to be deferred revenue recognition. I'm just not sure on that accounting point. To be honest. And someone let me know in the chat. You know what? I think we should get Matt Smith back on from Good Soil, because I just think the revenue recognition from FSD wide release will be when it's out of beta. No, like I think feature recognition probably makes more sense out of beta rather than in beta. So I guess we'll see. 205.55. I'm going to pull up the options market here in a second. Let's see here. Richard says Matt Smith estimated the currency exchange hit at around 200 million. Okay, 200 schmil. Let's say up to 300. Probably fair enough. I wonder what's being priced in there. I guess we'll find out next week. Michael says, Yash, if Elon wasn't involved in politics, as he certainly is, do you really think Tesla would be at this price now? Wake up politics. I think there's a degree to truth to that. I just don't know. When I look at macro, and yeah, I mean, 7.36% down for the day. So, I mean, definitely more than a 2 beta today. And there could be a degree of like, okay, institutional investors are like, okay, we want to steer clear of this or whatever. I just think, I guess the better way to put this maybe is the majority of the move, not all of it, the majority of the move is macro related today. I just think that's the best way to put it. Does Elon being outspoken make a difference? Yeah, but I guess that just kind of comes with the territory. I was going to pull up options. Hold on one second. Let's take a look at options. Let's see what big money is telling us about where Tesla may be headed. Let's pull this up. 205.30 sitting on Tesla here. Let me pull this up. Open link. Chrome. So here's where options is looking at pretty much steady call buying, or pardon me, Freudian slip. Steady put buying in the entire day. And in the last 20 minutes, even more put buying happening. The red line going up indicates put buying, going down indicates put selling, vice versa with the green line, which are calls, and the share price is white. So you can see the momentum is very heavily skewed to the downside. A lot of puts being bought. I guess people are convinced that Elon has to sell, maybe. And they're probably trying to front run that. Perhaps 205.55 sitting on Tesla here. That says if it was all political, other stocks wouldn't be down. Yes, and you know what? We should just, I guess, zoom out and look at the broader market, right? So let me just do that for us. Let's just test that hypothesis, right? So Tesla is down. Let's say in the last month, Tesla is down 32%. No good way to slice that ugly action, right? In the last month, the same time period, NASDAQ is down 10%. So if we take an arbitrary period, 1 month from today, yes, there's a 3 multiple essentially baked on Tesla versus the NASDAQ. So relative weakness in the last month. Let's do 6 months. So the NASDAQ is down in the past 6 months, 22.88%. In the last 6 months, Tesla is down 38%. So a 2 beta on 22% for the NASDAQ is about 44. Let's just round down, let's say 40. Tesla is down pretty much in line with its beta in the last 6 months. So there's that. Let's do trailing 1 year. In the trailing 1 year, Tesla is down 24%. So if we do quick math here, we would expect the NASDAQ to be down about 12% if the beta of 2 aligns here. But the NASDAQ in the trailing 1 year is down 28.68%. So we would actually expect Tesla to be down closer to 55-ish percent, between 50 and 60% based on a beta of 2 in the trailing 1 year. And I get it, these dates are arbitrary. I'm just picking trailing 1 year, trailing 6 months. But this is kind of the broader picture to look at. So it is true. In the last 1 month, Tesla is down with a beta of 3 versus the NASDAQ. That is true. 10% NASDAQ's down versus Tesla down 32%. But if you do the trailing 1 year on, which, I mean, I get it, 1 year is a long time for a lot of people, but we have to go broader sometimes. The NASDAQ's down 28%. Let's just round up for a second. NASDAQ's down 30% in the last year, and Tesla's down 25% for the last year. Let's just say even Tesla's down 30% in the last year. That's a beta of 1, so it should be down more than that if we follow the beta. So I guess the problem is, depending on the timeline that you follow, you can come up with your own narrative on it. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I don't even want to get started on the Fed. I don't want to get started on the Fed. So, I don't. I mean, here's what I tweeted, right? Here's what I tweeted on the Fed. As I said, I'm not going to get into the Fed. I start getting into the Fed. So here's what I tweeted about the Fed today, because Ross Gerber tweeted about the Fed being pretty much convinced to pretty much kill something. And he says, Ross Gerber says, seems more and more that the Fed won't be happy till they manufacture an economic crisis that really hurts America. So far, they got one in England. And I said, how else would they buy back in the low? And then I remember this tweet here that said the U.S. Federal Reserve officials sold all of their stocks here to avoid, quote unquote, any conflict of interest. Who remembers that? When they sold all of their stocks, what was that? End of last year or something like that? Close to the peak. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. Remember, there was like whole conflict of interest probe, and they're like, fine, we'll sell everything. And since they've sold, it's just kind of been a gong show in the market. So, I guess I threw on my tinfoil a little bit there, but couldn't help to have a little dunk there. Oh, what's that? I mean, unfortunately, this is where we're at, right? Like the cricket mode says, hike is coming. I mean, look, inflation, all of the gut feel that we get, all of the current inflation data that we get shows the dramatic falling of everything. It just has to be priced into our basket of goods here in the following 3 to 6 months. But yet the Fed's focused on this, and I said this yesterday. We're within the margin of error of a total epic policy error by the Fed. Like we're like, it just feels that way. Like gut feel really feels like we're within the margin of error. That's why it's just nuts. It doesn't matter really what stocks will do, individual stocks, during the times where if the Fed has a policy error like that. So when the Fed members had skin in the game, they weren't so hawkish. Yeah, I mean, they guess they got to buy back in the low, right? Like, it's just, yeah. It's actually insane to me a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. 205.79 sitting on Tesla. All stocks except Bank of America. Well, remember, Bank of America, I'm pretty sure that they had earnings today, right? Or they have earnings coming up soon enough. Banks did. Forget what banks did, though. So there's that. So I think banks reported pretty decent. And remember, they're going to, right? I mean, look, interest rates are going up. So AMD, someone's saying, look at AMD. AMD is down 4.3%. A little bit of a different league, right? With AMD sub 100 billion. But if you look at NVIDIA, even, NVIDIA is down 5.3% as well. So chips are down today. We should look at the auto market in China even. Hold on, let me just pull this up. Polestar is down 5.3%. Rivian is down 11.7%. Something happened did something happen with Rivian? Not entirely sure. Did they not produce a car or something? Someone missed delivery. Lucid down 7.6%. Xpeng Motors, XPEV down 10%. NIO down 7.2%. And Tesla continues to fall 7.2% as well. Twitter is up, someone says. Is that right? Oh, God. What a gong show. VIX is up as well. Twitter's up. Twitter's green on the day. So take that with how you want. Where's the question here? Hold on. Atai asks, when do you think Wall Street will recognize the $45 kilowatt hour tax credit battery production Tesla will earn next year, which is a tailwind? Do you think this is material to Tesla stock price earnings in 2023? I think because we haven't gotten the exact details from the IRS, perhaps it's still conjecture for a lot of people. I'm not entirely sure where analysts are with it. I know Morgan Stanley, Adam Jonas talked about it in a note specifically a month or two ago. I think I made a video on that. I think 2023 for sure, there will be something that Tesla will earn, but I think until it's kind of written in stone and the details are hashed out, which some are saying might happen Q1 even, I'm not entirely sure how much of that gets baked in. Look, I think where we are in the market is everyone is looking at the Fed. Everyone's looking at macro, because macro trumps all at the moment. So yes, I do think it'll make a difference in 2024, especially though. I mean, it is a big deal though if you do think about it, right? $45 per kilowatt hour for assembling and creating the battery in North America. So, starts OnlyFans. Oh, okay. Rivian had a big recall. Okay. Rivian had to recall all the. Wasn't that headline though? A couple of last week or something. I remember reading that a couple of days ago. I'm not sure whether it's syncing today. There was also, by the way, I'm not sure. Look, I'm not sure what to believe anymore with the headlines that we get sometimes out of Shanghai and out of China. Some people telling me it's a nothing burger. Some people telling me something to watch for. But we got this headline on October 10th, right? And remember, I have this theory where I always think big money, analysts, institutions, these guys pay for ears on the ground. They will know everything policy-wise way before any of us retailers will know on the Bloomberg wire, right? And so this article came out from Bloomberg Quick Take on October 10th saying China is stepping up efforts to contain COVID-19 outbreaks ahead of the Party Congress with concerns about widening lockdowns in Shanghai. I had people telling me this was a nothing burger. Cases are still low. But, you know, I'm not trying to say macro is all related to this, but I remember going back to the shutdowns that happened and the lockdown happened earlier this year in China. And it almost felt like a week or two before the lockdowns really materialized in China. It had already been priced into the market before we even knew what hit us. The market had already dropped. So not saying that this is related to now, but it's something to watch for at the very least, right? So GM's also green. Oh, yikes. Oh, we got the spam bots back. Oh, hold on one second. Oh, God. Thank you, mods. Appreciate that. Thank you, Sanju. God, these stupid spam bots. Also, I got this like stupid Twitter imposter, folks. I'm not going to be DMing or what's telling you to WhatsApp me and stuff like this. Like this is Twitter like needs to get their crap together. Like there's this imposter that has @hate it is Yashu copied everything and essentially is messaging people, DMing people. And I reported this guy or girl. And I said, look, this guy's impersonating me. And Twitter literally doesn't care. Literally doesn't care. 205.04. We need to see 205 hold here, hey? Let's see. Yeah, I'm not saying lockdowns work at all. I'm just saying if big money knows something that we don't. That's the thing. I mean, it's an informational advantage, right? Thank you, Sanju. Okay. Let's talk options pricing. Let's talk options pricing for a hot second. Turn off the chat box for a second. Let's talk options pricing. It's been a while. So let's look at options priced for the end of the year and let's see the skew and the weighting that we might have. Actually, let's look at January 2023. Man, I remember when January 2023 options were a long time away. Okay, so an at-the-money call is about $30. At-the-money put is $26. So calls are still skewed at the money heavier. If we go out 1 standard deviation, about 16-ish delta on the call side, you can buy in 1 standard deviation out on the call side for about $4.75. Okay, and 1 standard deviation on the put side, delta 15, 16, let's say, for $8. Wow. So and at the money, so 1 standard deviation out on the put side for January 2023 is still is way more expensive. Actually, almost double the price of an out the money call. Now, there's 2 ways to interpret this. One is, big money doesn't think Tesla's going to rally to end the year, and there's put bias baked in to end the year. On the downside. The other way to look at it is if you wanted an outsized risk for reward, you would look at that options pricing and say it's not balanced enough. Most premiums priced in on the downside, which I guess makes sense when you've fallen as much as you have in the last month here. So that's interesting. Let's look at next week's option chain in particular, though, just because it is the earnings options chain. And let's go at one standard deviation for next week. You pay about $2 for an out the money, one standard deviation, 16 delta call, 232 strike. How much did I say? Sorry, I've got memory of a goldfish here. $2. And then an out the money, one standard deviation on the put side is about 250. And it's about $20 away on the downside, and it is $25-ish. So it's more even actually for next week, surprisingly. So take that with how you want. At 204.40, sitting on Tesla here. Oh, you guys are already guessing. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's play our Tesla closing price guessing game. Let's do it. Hopefully we can bring joy into someone's life here. Someone wins. Drop your best Tesla closing price guess for today in the chat. Remember, Price is Right rules. You have to guess at or under to win the virtual Juju prize, which I'll throw at you through the camera. I'm going to throw in a guess today as well. Volume weighted average price for the day, in case you care, is 212.12, 212.22. Don't see us rallying that much. I'm going to say 203 as a close. Bearish yash today, 203 on the whole. Options pricing, it still looks ugly, if anyone's wondering. Even the market flow, by the way. Even the market flow, by the way, is ugly. This is the options flow in the just market wide, in case you're wondering. Consistent call buy, again, Freudian slip, right? Consistent put buying, call selling throughout the entire day. Very much negative momentum heading into next week. You don't need the options graph to really tell you that. Yeah. By the way, that COVID news wasn't new. It was October 10th, right? So, I mean, if you want to look at it with the move that we had today, perhaps, but yeah, are we having fun yet? 204.42 sitting on Tesla. Stop the count. Yeah, no kidding. Let's stop the Tesla count, shall we? Okay. Let's see here. Vasi says, Vasil, pardon me, says, when do you plan on selling Tesla shares? When Tesla's growth trajectory is nowhere near where it is today. Let's say when Tesla, I mean, even Apple, you can say Apple's growth is slowing massively. Maybe when Tesla's at that stage, you can look at that, but, or like, someone asked me the other day and they're like, what would it take for you to not be bullish on Tesla? And I said, I don't think demand's an issue. But if there were signals that they could not scale at all for some reason, not timeline extension, right? Because if Tesla takes a year to delay scale, it's not the end of the world, because if someone's going to scale, it's going to have to be Tesla in the EV world. So it would really take a lot. I guess throw that into chat. What would it take for you? It just, for me, it's like, I know EVs are the future. If you look at government bodies, everyone is banning gas cars. There's going to have to be EVs in the future. Tesla's the only one to bet on really for scale at all, and this is just the car business, by the way, I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about FSD, nothing like that. So Rich said, last time I heard in Shanghai, they have 38 cases. Yeah, I mean, that's what, maybe it was you actually in Discord that threw that in. Look, I guess the problem isn't really the case count. It's the general sentiment out of the CCP with their COVID strategy. It just makes no sense. And so they can turn the switch at any given moment. And I guess that's what kind of has gotten investors scared a little bit about it. Abe says, if demand goes down, I'm out. Well, remember, Abe, like, demand is not binary, right? It's not like there is demand or there isn't. Remember, 2020, end of 2020, where Tesla prices were for the majority of their trims are not where they are today. They're about 20% higher on average or something like that. Even if if Tesla knocks down prices by a couple of thousand, there is a lot of hidden demand for Tesla, even with what's happening in the economic markets right now. That's my belief. I know from I guess plural of anecdote is not data, but I know people that are waiting to buy Teslas if the price drops enough, and not even to where it was in end of 2020. Raymond says, sell if Elon gets hit by Tesla semi. Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of investors like that. That it's like when Steve Jobs, right, passed away. Tesla is not really where Steve Jobs, or what am I saying? Tesla is not really where Apple was when Steve Jobs passed away yet. But I do believe that even if Elon wanted to walk away from Tesla, yes, Tesla stock would take a hit, but I still think they'd be able to execute on the car business. 204.93 sitting on Tesla. Ekabob says if Tesla falls to 140, we'll be at a 25 forward P. I think we'll actually be lower than that. I can pull up the calculator. It's been a long week, folks. I'm sorry. I think we'll be at. Hold on. Let's say 140. Let's say So even at let's say $2 EPS quarter four annualized, it's $8 next year. At 140, that'd be like a sub 20 PE, like a sub 18 PE, something like that. So when is the earnings call? So earnings call is next Wednesday. No, Vasil, I wasn't. I was a kid. So my dad loved Apple though, and he kind of followed me on with everything. What was I going to say? Earnings is next Wednesday. If anyone cares, this is what the schedule looks like for next Wednesday. I'm not entirely sure. This is what I'm thinking. I'm still going to do Power Hour, and I guess give me feedback in the chat. Okay, today I need it. Should I do Power Hour? But should I do my usual earnings mega stream? Because what's happening next week is, and I'll pull up what I retweeted here from Farzad. Let's see here. So next Wednesday, starting at 2:45 Central, that is 12:45 Pacific time, if I can do math. I'm going to be on a panel with Farzad, Gary Black, Ross Gerber, Matt Smith, Alexandra Mers, aka Tesla Rubamama, Nick from Investing Against Grain. And so we're going to be streaming like a simulcast. I'm trying to figure out how can we do it so I still do a Power Hour with you guys prior for the 12. And then I join the simulcast. By the way, the way the simulcast I think is going to work is I think we're all going to be streaming it on our channels. I guess that's what a simulcast is. Duh, Yash. But we're all going to be streaming on our channels. But I basically want it so if you guys tune in for Power Hour, you guys don't have to tune out anywhere. You guys can just continue watching for the mega stream. I'm super excited for this panel. By the way, I've seen a lot of comments. I don't think it's going to be too many chefs in the kitchen because I think they're going to be spaced out. Not everyone's going to be in at all times. Is my understanding. You know, some people might come for a little bit, leave early, blah blah blah. So, man, my throat hurts. Definitely over. Rich said I had heard that they expect if Elon sells, it'll be somewhere between 20th of October, 27th. I continue to think Elon is not going to sell. I don't think it makes sense for him to joke about perfume selling if he's going to actually have to sell. This is going to be a great stream. This is Nick, Investing Against the Grain. I'm sure he's going to like it that you called him a kid, but he's not a kid. Go follow him on Twitter as well. He was the hashtag Banana Gang with Farzad last week. 204.73 sitting on Tesla. Guessing, yeah, we've already played the guessing game. I guess if you threw in your guess now, it's probably a little bit late, but only if you win will we care. Someone said VIX. Yes, VIX is not looking great. VIX is over 32. I mean, look, VIX VIX has a direct correlation often with Tesla on the upside. I mean, a lot with high growth for sure, but Tesla, I've noticed it specifically. The VIX, it if and when the VIX actually breaks back below 30 again, 28ish, I guess, is kind of the level that it hasn't broken under since about a month now. That's really when we're going to look at market rallying. But until then, I there's not really a rally to speak of. Okay. Quick macro update. Tesla down 7.6%. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Twitter is green for any Twitter investors in the chat. Nvidia down 6%. AMD down 5%. Apple down 3.1%. Nasdaq down over 3%. Just under 3%. Amazon on 5%. So take that with how you want. S&P 500 down 2.3%. Nikola is only down 1 point. Why do I even have Nikola in my watch list? Let me just delete that crap. Okay. Google down 2.5%. What else do we care about on here? Maybe Palantir. Palantir down a little bit less than Tesla, 6.5%. The 10-year yields are up and over 4% again. Lemonade down 9% on the day. What else do I got here? Surprisingly, Shopify is flat on the day. How does that possible? I guess you can only beat up someone so much until they're dead. So take that with what you want. Let's see here. Appreciate that, Marco. Thank you. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to go live for 12 Pacific. Don't quote me on it. I'm going to try my best because I'm going to have to figure out all the technology. But the idea is if I can go live with you guys for 12, we can hang out for 45 minutes and then I can join the panel and you guys don't have to leave. I think that's the best way to do it. Because I appreciate the time that we have together as a stream before we get into a big group where stuff is going to be sticky all over the place. Who knows where the conversation goes, all that sort of stuff. Joel says the perfume had to be a joke. He needs billions and a buttload of perfume. If he was serious, he's desperate, and that's scary. See, I don't think he was serious at all with that tweet personally. Twitter. Yeah, I know. Do we get news out? Do we get breaking news after hours today? Is today one of those Fridays where we get breaking news? About Twitter, maybe about something. I don't know. It really feels like, yeah, power minute. Exactly. We got 1 minute here left to close. It really feels like, today's a day we need something, even if it's bad. Give us something after hours to get the focus away from this. I don't know. Yeah, it's ugly. Probably awful news, if anything. Yeah. Maybe something that could explain what's happening here. Can't bring citrus back from Canada. Sucks. Really? Oh yeah, the Americans have weird border immigration custom rules with fruit. I had to bring an apple over once because it was in my lunch case, and I couldn't bring it back home. Apparently, like some apples are going to cause a danger into our wildlife. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Alrighty. So we got 1 second here till close. Oh God, these spam bots just know exactly when to come. Hey, 205. There it is. We have closed officially for the day. 204.99. I'm going to give it a second here. Thank you, Sanju. I'm going to give it a second here just in case the price changes. 204.99. Sitting on Tesla, closing on Tesla. Let's just give it a second. Can someone confirm that this is indeed the closing price for the day before I dole out the virtual Juju prize to someone, hopefully not undeservingly? 204.99. Let's see here. Who got 99? So Manzil got 204.69. Litwa got 204.03. So Manzil's ahead right now. Great American, how's it going? 204.26. Samir 204.50. Lynn 204.05. Caleb at 204.69 as well. Same with Sean, actually. We might have a three-way tie here. We got a three-way tie for the win. Manzil, Kale, Caleb, where is it? Caleb, Sparkman, and Sean. You guys all guessed 204.69. So three-way tie to win it, unless I'm missing something. And 204.99. Yes. Okay. Three-way tie to end the day. It's yeah. I mean, it's definitely ugly. Hold on. Let's see here. Someone's saying something. You guys are pulling my leg again with the breaking news stuff. You guys know, like, I always fall for the breaking news stuff, but I'm gonna check anyways. Hold on. If you guys see any breaking news, tag me on Twitter. I don't see it. All right, you got me. You got me. Okay. So 204.99, ugly way to end the week. I'm just going to give a broad horizon view on the week, shall we? Let's just pull it up here. Okay, broad horizon view. Can't even talk. Broad horizon view for the week. Okay, NASDAQ finished down on the week 3 point. Is this right? There's no way this is possible. I'm just going to go with what they have. In the last 5 days, NASDAQ's down 3.19%. Tesla in the last 5 days closing down 8.36%. And Apple closing down the week 1.49%. So, I mean, Apple is really showing some strength here. So remember, next week is earnings week for Tesla. If you haven't heard me already say that a million times, there it is. It's capping Wednesday after hours. Whatever happens on earnings day, it's going to be entertaining to say the least. I already made our prediction on our Discord Patreon channel. I said I said the earnings call is going to be greater than 50% about Tesla bot, and the Tesla Twitter community and the Tesla community is going to go crazy. Because I remember what happened a couple of earnings calls ago when the Tesla bot was brought up. So I mean, at this point, I don't know. But the macro markets are leading the way for, I mean, Tesla, Apple, Twitter, I mean, Nvidia. I don't know what you want to call it. Everyone is wondering when the Fed is going to stop raising rates, when inflation is going to come down, really. So, I mean, it'll be interesting nonetheless, whatever happens. I guess I'm just waiting for quarter four earnings call already. So I guess we'll see. All right. Much love. Much love. Thank you for joining me on another Friday. You guys could be anywhere. You guys are here pontificating on the stock market, on Tesla stock, having fun. I'm gonna try to keep happy, like I say every Friday. And here I got the lead optimist here, Ovi on the chat again. I'm dog sitting. Like I say every Friday. Okay, she wants to leave. I'm gonna let her. I'm not gonna torture her. Put away your technology, your phones, your stock market, your portfolios, your tickers, whatever. Nothing's gonna change until Monday, anyways. Put it all away. Doesn't matter. Be well, be happy. Remember, prioritize your mental, your physical health. Often mental health is preceded by you working out, exercising, going on walks, whatever you need to do. At the end of the day, I mean, it's definitely a bag holder's quote 101, but at the end of the day, like, nothing really matters unless we have our health, right? So please prioritize that this weekend. Do well. So this market doesn't close yet. I wish it did. All right, much love. We'll be back for next Wednesday for sure. We'll be back on the weekend, hopefully. If there's any breaking news, you know I'll be here. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Join us on Discord if you want to join the best Tesla community on Discord. Selfish. I'm kind of a little bit biased there. But I appreciate everyone's support on the channel, Patreon subscribers, channel members, regular subscribers, commenters. It doesn't matter to me. I appreciate it. Much love. Okay, be right back. We'll be back soon. And remember, the storm will end. The stock market can't go down to zero. I mean, I guess that's theoretically. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to go there. Be well, everyone. Take care. I'll catch you in the next one. Yeah, signing off. Peace.